What's up, everybody? Welcome back to I Am Unchained podcast. This is episode 3. It's been a while since the other episodes, but I've been real busy around the house. Just got back from a camping trip. Man, was that enlightening. I went by myself. I took my dog with me. Didn't take any food. Only took I think it's called the Nature Nova. It's a water filter straw that you just basically stick in the river and drink out of the river. Complete silence. No music, nothing. There were some people in the camp spot way down on the other end. Just me, man. Just me and nature and the birds, fire, the river. Like, the most at peace that I've been in a long time. And I got to know myself pretty good. Like, we all know ourselves, right? We all know ourselves. If you're listening and not watching a video, I did air quotes on we know ourselves. Because we think we know who we are, right? But a lot of that's like, a lot of who we are is what was imposed on us, right? By our upbringing, by our environment, by the things that we consume, everything. Like I said before, and I say it again, music, the art around you, the people around you, the house that you live in, the area that you live in. Like, check this out. So I went up to Ashford, and that's where I camped at. And total bliss, right? I was floating. I was on top of the world. My energy was great. And then I drove back down. And I started getting right back into like Spanaway, Parkland area. And the environment can change your energy so much. You start seeing garbage on the streets. People are basically fucking zombies nowadays. You got people slumped over, floating in midair, basically. You got people asleep on the street. Abandoned cars everywhere, tents everywhere, trash. Like, as soon as I got back down here, I got back down. If you know what I mean. Like, I was elevated. Everything about me was high energy, high vibration, high everything. Way up here. As soon as I got back down here, it kicked me down a couple notches. And it makes you really understand how your environment, everything, can change the way that you think, the way that you feel, the way that you act. Everything. It's crazy, right? So kind of what we're going to talk about today is getting back on track with yourself, right? And taking care of yourself and understanding that your environment, your upbringing, the beliefs that were handed down to you as a kid, is not who you are. Everything that you've been through is not who you are. I say this over and over and over again. And here's why. I got to a point in my life where I broke, right? It was a long road leading up to it. This was a couple years ago. It still gives me goosebumps thinking about it. I got to a point where I literally hated who I was, and I didn't know what to do about it. A lot of people, this goes back into the social media thing. People see me be positive all the time, right? 9-10 years ago, there was somebody that reached out to me. I couldn't tell you who it was, but it sticks with me to this day. And that person was on Facebook, or yeah, I think it was Facebook. And she was like, "Man, you're like the most positive person I know. Like, how do you do that?" And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm not. When I'm the most positive, not now, but before, when I was the most positive, I was going through the worst shit. The worst. And that was my way of getting through it. And I was able to kind of harness that energy and push it out and, you know, make it seem like everything was okie dokie, you know? And it's cool to do that. It's cool to push the positivity out there, but you really got to look within, right? You really have to be positive, not just act positive and preach about it, but you really have to be about it. You know what I mean? Just going back to the original point, I got to a point where even though I was pushing out positivity and I understood energy and how my surroundings affected me, I didn't do anything about it, right? I just was who I was. That's me. Oh, that's just who I am. That's just Matt. Like, I'm just an angry person, right? Don't fuck with me, period. That's just who I am. It's not. So I believed that I was, right? That was the character of Matt. And I made him. I didn't like who I was. I think it's because I started getting to a point in my life where I had kids around me, and my wife, and I started noticing that it was rubbing off on people. I pissed off all the time. Everything's negative. I'm always looking for a fight. I remember I was talking to my dad. I was the type of person that would be out in a crowd and I would just look at people and I would just wait for somebody to look at me sideways, and boom, it's a wrap. We're getting it done, right? It's so fucking exhausting being that person. I didn't want to be it anymore. And I just got to a point like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to change. I don't know how to be somebody else. I can't be somebody else. I'm just who I am, but I don't like it. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And I'm the type of person that I'm strong. Like, I'm strong and I'm strong, right? I can't let people see me fall. I can't let people see me weak. I can't be the one that needs help because everybody else around me needs help. Everybody around me needs advice. Everybody around me needs support. Who am I to unload my burden onto somebody else that looks to me for support? I can't do it, right? And that's a problem because you can. Like, you have people around you. And that's the reason I started this podcast in the first place. You know, I talk about awareness and, spiritual enlightenment and stuff like that. But really, the main root of everything is we're all in this together. We're all living the same life. Like, we're all being born, going through the motions, and dying. Why do some of us have to live with the heavy weight of not being okay, of wanting to end your life, right? Of not knowing what to do, where to go, and I'm fucking miserable. Why do we have to do that? We don't, right? And I was in that spot. And not to push the whole psilocybin, mushroom, ayahuasca, DMT, the spiritual plant medicine. But man, that changed my whole fucking being. And it gave me that awareness. And what I've learned is awareness gives you choice, right? Without awareness, you're reacting to things. That's it. But when you're aware of how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you are, you have that choice to change it, to completely flip it around, right? To do something about it, to talk to somebody about it, right? And it gives you the power to change. You're not your anger problem. You're not your anxiety. You are not your depression. You are not your pain. We all have it. We all just deal with it in different ways. And strong people want to deal with it themselves. And you can't, right? So let's kind of rewind a little bit and go back into talking about being the person that you think you are. I thought I was who I was, right? Set my ways, can't change. My family's like this. We're all just, like, doing our thing, right? That's just who we are. That's how I'm going to die. It is that Matt, right? Like that person. But I was miserable being that person. So I had to make a change. And my awareness gave me the power to do that, right? I stopped listening to the music I listened to. I stopped being around the people that I was around. I stopped doing certain activities that brought out the worst in me. Just recently, back on my birthday, I decided to quit drinking. That's kind of another story on its own. But it kind of ties into it. I guess we can go into it. I said it before, feelings might get hurt on this podcast, but I'm trying to be 100% honest. There's a problem in my family with alcohol. It's been there ever since I can remember. Like, if I sit here and try to think about my earliest memories, alcohol has always been there. It's been there on my dad's side, it's been there on my mom's side. And it's bad. And I made the decision not to drink anymore. It kind of got to that point where it's like, I don't really even enjoy it, right? The only reason I had a beer on my birthday, so back up. I had some champagne on New Year. I think it was champagne, wine, whatever. Me and Stacey had a glass. Stacey had a couple glasses. I had one. I wasn't feeling it. Didn't drink until my birthday. The only reason I drank on my birthday is because, oh, it's my birthday. Let me get a beer with my burger. Let me chill out. That's what we do on birthdays. No, it's not what we do on birthdays anymore. I had that one beer. I felt like shit. I didn't want it anymore. From that day, I decided I'm not going to. And it hasn't even been an urge for me. 2 reasons. One, it's been a problem in my life. The reason I got arrested back in 2009 was because I was drunk at a house party. I'm not going to go into the whole story. But when I drink, especially when old Matt drank, I got to do something with these. I got to do something with my hands. And I look for it. And I find it most of the time. And it got out of control. And I ended up in jail. That's not the only time something like that's happened. I've been in numerous fights. Come to find out, I'm just like my dad. And I didn't want to be that anymore. Even just a year or 2 years before I decided to stop drinking, I knew that old Matt comes out easy. It's popping the top, pow, let him loose, right? But I had to make a choice. I break that lineage, right? Break that chain of problems. Because why? And this is going to tie it all together. I have little people in this house, little souls, little beings that are consuming and absorbing every amount of energy, whether it's positive or negative, in this house. My anger was a problem. My attitude was a problem. My attitude when I was drinking was a problem. And I can't impose my issues onto my children, because I know how much your environment makes you who you are. When we're kids, everything that we grow up to believe was given to us by the people around us. Our environment, everything, blah, blah, blah. Keep saying it over and over. Everything that you consume makes you who you are. But here's the flip side of that, is once you're an adult, you then have the power to change what you believe. You have to unlearn everything. Is it hard? Jesus, yes, very hard. I still work at it to this day. And sometimes I still get off track, but I come back to remind myself, I have the power. I am the author of my own story. I am the director of my own movie. I have the power to change anything in my life, right? Think about it this way. On the last podcast, I talked about how you are your main character in your movie. And in somebody else's movie, you are a secondary character, right? In somebody else's movie, you probably look a little bit different. You act a little bit different. You move a little bit different, right? I am not the same person in my eyes that I am in my wife's eyes, or my kid's eyes, or my mom's eyes, right? And we try to uphold that. And that's a problem, because you are your main character. And you have the power to say, my life is going to be a comedy. It's going to be a romance. It's going to be an inspiring documentary. But you have to have the awareness to do that, right? Because some of us sit there and say, my life is in shambles. My life is a sad, sad story. And that's just is what it is. But it's not, right? What I'm getting at is, you are not what you believe you are. You are not what you think you have to be. You can be anything you want to be. And as hokey as that sounds, and it sounds like I'm talking to my children, you have to understand that you can do and be whoever you want to be. I used to wish that I had confidence, right? Fucking never had it growing up, I went through phases. I was skinny, I was chubby, I was skinny, I was chubby. The chubby mindset always stayed with me. And I never had confidence. I didn't have any friends in school. If you thought you were my friend in school, I'm sorry. I didn't think I had any friends in school. And growing up, teenage years, going into early 20s, even 30s, like I never had the confidence. Why? For what? Then I had an experience that taught me that I was a dope ass person. I'm funny as fuck if you get to know me, right? My humor is a little off sometimes. I think it's hilarious. But you have to understand, like, who gives a fuck about anybody else? Right? Be who you want to be. I've seen people like that, and I used to judge them like, you're fucking weird, bro. Like, get out of here. But they are authentic. They're their authentic self, right? So here's a question you got to ask yourself. And this is the big question. Are you happy with your movie? With your movie up to this point, are you happy with it? Do you like the way it's going? Right? Everything that you've done and experienced kind of foreshadows the way that it's going to end. Are you happy with the way that you feel it's going to end? That's the big question. And if not, are you going to change it? Because you have the power to change it, right? So getting back into kind of the whole purpose of this podcast. Not everybody knows how to change it. Like I said, I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I got my own shit I'm dealing with. I still got demons inside that want to come out that I'm just trying to silence. I still have stuff that I'm trying to get through, right? I still have conversations that have not been had that I should have with other people. I'm doing the best that I can, right? But I know now that I'm not alone. And I know that everybody's going through this. And I want to give everybody an opportunity to come to me, go to somebody, talk about it. I don't want to see anybody get to that point where they're so unhappy with life that you think you have to take it away from yourself. I've been there. And it's a horrible fucking ride. So, if you're one of those people, if you know one of those people, you have a place to go. I'm not the end all be all. I've never claimed to be. I don't know everything. There's a lot of shit that I don't know. But if I can be that person that can talk to you and say, this isn't the end, right? Like, this is not how it has to be. You do not have to carry the burden on your own. Period. You do not have to be unhappy. Are you going to have to work? Fuck yeah, you're going to have to work. But is it going to be for the best? Absolutely. You just have to have a place to go. And that's all I want to be for somebody. There's too many people nowadays that are losing themselves. And then their family and their loved ones are losing them also. And it doesn't have to be that way. So, on that note, in the show notes, the description, there is a link, an anonymous link that I created back when I first started this podcast. If you need somebody to talk to, you need advice, you just want to get something off your chest, that link's available. It comes directly to me. I don't know who you are. It gives you an opportunity to get feedback, right? I had somebody reach out the other day for fitness advice, which was great. They didn't want to stay anonymous. There's no reason to say who they were or anything like that, but she was just looking for help, looking for advice, looking for something, right? But if you don't know that you have somebody to go to, you don't go to anybody. You know what I mean? I wish that I had somebody to go to, but I felt like a lot of the people that I could go to turned shit into sugar. You know what I mean? They just sugarcoated everything because, oh, let's just make them feel better, right? That's not the purpose of it. That's not the purpose of me doing this. I want people to feel better, but it's not for me to sit here and say, oh no, everything you're doing is okay. Everything you're fine. No, some people got to make a fucking change, right? Like you can't want to get out of something and keep being the same person. This is the most simple, basic statement that I keep telling myself over and over and over again because it hits different every single time I say it. You have to be the person that you want to be in order to be the person that you want to be, right? Example. I want to be, I want to be a better father, right? Now I say that. But if I come home and I'm not making any changes, how can I be a better father? You have to be a better father to be a better father. You get what I'm saying? If you want to lose weight and you want to feel comfortable with your shirt off, and you say that, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. Well, are you fucking doing anything about it? Right? I want to be happier. I want to be happier. Every day I go to sleep, I say I want to be happier. Okay? Be happier. Do the things to make you happy, right? And stop doing the things that make you unhappy. If you're listening to music about selling drugs, killing people, yeah, I'm talking about rap music. Don't get me wrong. I love rap music. I can't listen to it anymore because it hypes me up and it brings my energy down. And that's not the type of person that I want to be, nor does anybody want to be around. Trust me. You have to be aware of the fact that what's going in your head is changing the way that you think, right? If you're unhappy and you're eating like shit, you're consuming everything negative, the people around you are negative, how the fuck are you going to change? You can't, right? This is why I speak all this stuff. And like I said, I'm not perfect. But did I understand that music changed the way that I was? Yeah, absolutely. I cut it out. As much as I love it, I cut it out. Did I understand that drinking was bad for me? Yeah, so I cut it out, right? Do I understand that exercising and fitness makes me feel like a better person? Yes. Do I want to do it every day? No. Don't think I'm this fucking Superman because I work out all the time and shit like that. I do it for my mental health, period. I am aware of those things. Therefore, it gives me choice. See what I'm saying? You have to be okay with letting things go. You have to be okay with change. You have to be okay with the things that are making you comfortable, sometimes those have to go away. It is what it is. But if you want to change and you want a better life, you have to understand that. Energy is everything. Again, woo woo, spirit, and fucking unicorns, right? Energy is everything. And if you're not creating your own energy, your own positive energy, it's going to ruin you. It's going to ruin everything around you. And I know a lot of this stuff. When I went on my little camping trip, it hit me. Here's one thing I want to show you guys too. Talk about being a kid and how everything when you're a kid. So this, let me stop for a second. Slow down, Matt. So anybody that's not watching this on YouTube and you're just listening on Spotify, there's this book called The Voice for Knowledge. And this kind of goes, it ties into the 4 agreements, the 5th agreement, stuff like that. And it talks about the voice in your head, the person that you think you are, right? And I get a lot of meaning out of this book. There's one part in it that talks about the movie, right? The movie of yourself. And you begin to learn that everything that you consume is who you are. And as a kid, you don't have, as a newborn, you know nothing. Everything just is, right? A tree just is. It's not a tree. It's not green. It's not big. It's not small. It's not bushy. Nothing. It just is. You know nothing about it. You just look at it and it is. Until somebody tells you that it's a tree, right? And then they tell you it's green. And then they tell you it's big. And then they tell you it's bushy. And then they tell you what it smells like. It's all their perception, right? That's all life is perception of everything around you. But as a child, you don't know anything. So all of your beliefs are imposed on you, right? I was reading this book while I was camping. And this picture fell out. I didn't even know this picture was in there. If you're not watching the video on YouTube and you're on Spotify, I'll put a link in the show notes. You can watch this on YouTube, see it. This is a picture of me when I was camping. I don't know how old I was. 7? 8? 9? Couldn't tell you. I had no knowledge of anything. And I was probably so happy in this picture. She's probably a little bit closer. That's me. I had no knowledge of anything. I just was who I was. I just was. Period. I wasn't what my mom believed me to be. I wasn't what the people around me believed me to be. I wasn't what society believes me to be. I wasn't what my wife believes me to be, my kids, my siblings, anybody. I just was. I think we all need to get back to that because we go through our life and we tell ourselves that we're these things. And then we get to a point where we're not happy with those things. And I personally believe that depression is your soul saying, I'm sick of being the person that you think you are. Because your soul is not that. Your soul just is. And you can make it whatever you want. Right? We all need to get back to that. But sometimes we need help. So, aside from me kind of rambling on about all this stuff, what you really need to understand is You are not who you think you are. You can be anything that you want to be. There's something called I am affirmations, and I do them all the time. This is why me and my wife started this company. I am Artisan Creations. I am strong. I am confident. I am handsome. I am funny. Those are the things that I am. I am not depression. I am not anger. I am not pain. I am not sadness. Period. So again, take this as a reminder to help yourself. And I don't mean harness everything and take care of it yourself. Take the necessary steps to help yourself, because only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can change you. Period. But if you need help, you need to talk to somebody. That's okay too. Because if that's what you need to do it, you need that to do it. Does that make sense? It's okay to talk to people. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to people, if you don't feel comfortable unleashing your sadness and your pain on your spouse or your kids or your parents or your friends or whatever, that link, that's exactly what that's for. It's not for me to have content. It's not for me to do anything else other than try to help somebody, because I've been there and I've wanted somebody to talk to and I didn't have it. So you're going to be okay. Life can be good. You just have to step forward and make those changes. So with that being said, don't forget to take care of yourself. Don't forget to be aware of your feelings and understand that you have a choice to change them. Don't forget that it's going to be hard work. But most importantly, don't forget that everything can change. Everything. Where you're at right now does not have to be where you're at tomorrow. I said what I said. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been episode 3. I hope that this video finds you well. And I hope that after this video, you feel a little bit better about yourself and about the way that things are going. And I hope that you know somebody's there to help. And I can't say that enough, and I can't stress it enough. Shit's going to be all right. So, anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. I hate saying this, but if you enjoyed what you watched and you want to see more of these, like, subscribe, give a rating, hoobity, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Show some support. Keep doing what I'm doing, even if nobody watches, because I'm hard-headed. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.